Baruch Spinoza. The most radical philosopher of the 17th century, Baruch Spinoza, strike modern readers as almost stunningly modern. In his own day, his philosophy was sometimes labeled Spinozism and described as monism, in which God is defined impersonally as a singular and self-subsistent substance, containing within itself both matter and thought. In many respects, Spinoza was a philosopher of his age. He drew on Descartes for much of his epistemology and metaphysics, and on Hobbes as well as the ancient Stoics for his ethics. His rational approach to religion was a well-established Jewish hermeneutic tradition, yet he directed all these streams to a naturalistic view of God, strikingly impersonal and conducive to a liberal approach to moral and political philosophy. He was born Baruch Spinoza in Amsterdam, Dutch Republic, on November 24, 1632, and was a Jew of Portuguese Sephardic descent. Although best known today as Baruch Spinoza, he signed his learned Latin and Dutch works Benedictus de Spinoza. The middle son in a prominent family, he was educated at Talmud Torah School of Amsterdam and was likely destined for a career as a rabbi, but withdrew from the school when he was 17 so that he could help run his family's importing business. On July 27, 1656, when he was in his 20s, the Sephardic community of Amsterdam effectively excommunicated him, issuing a herem for his abominable heresies. Although he had yet to publish his philosophical treatises, he must have already given voice to his rejection of the providential and transcendent God of Abraham as described in the Old Testament. Along with this, he may also have discussed his notion that the law, Torah, was not given by God and was therefore not binding on Jews. By 1661, he had abandoned Judaism and left Amsterdam to take up residence in Vrensburg near Leiden. He began composing Treatise on the Emendation of the Intellect, a work on epistemology and philosophical method, published posthumously in 1677. He then moved to Verburg near The Hague and wrote a critical commentary on Descartes' Principle of Philosophy, 1663. At this point, Spinoza was also composing his Ethics, which he temporarily laid aside to write Theological Political Treatise, Tractatus Theologico Politicus, which he republished anonymously in 1670. Drafted in response to the encroachment of the Dutch Reformed Church on religious freedom and freedom of thought and expression, this work critically examines both contemporary Judaism and Christianity and the scriptures on which both are based. Arguing for democracy and freedom of speech and religion, Spinoza poses that the cardinal duty of the state is to guarantee liberty. Spinoza made his living as a lens grinder and from 1670 on enjoyed a modest pension funded by two friends.
Are you a philosophy student or just have a general interest in philosophy? Since ancient times, brilliant philosophical teachings and dialogues taught by great luminous minds have deeply elevated the way we think and live. The Complete Philosophy Primer is a comprehensive, organized, easy-to-read, and all-encompassing guide specifically written for students in their first college-level philosophy course, as well as anyone with an interest in philosophy. With this jam-packed philosophical guide, you will optimize your knowledge in philosophy, logic, ethics, its history, and branches. Learn philosophical concepts, term definitions, and biographies. Find lists of essential books, films, blogs, websites, and other resources. Improve your writing skills. Learn how to argue effectively. And most of all, learn how to be a better student. Order your copy today to philosophize your mind and illuminate your wisdom.
Offered the chair of philosophy at the University of Heidelberg, he declined, preferring to work as what today would be called an independent scholar. He corresponded with the likes of Christian Huygens and Gottfried Leibniz. He died in Vorburg on February 21, 1677 at the age of 44. Spinoza's most radical and inflammatory argument is that while God exists, it is as an entity both abstract and impersonal. A monist, he argued that everything in the universe is one substance, reality, and that God and nature are merely two terms for the same thing. All the varied entities found in nature are modes, modifications flowing from the one. God, the one, the universe, has infinite attributes, but Spinoza identifies the two most salient as thought and extension. In this way, the mental and physical realms are intertwined in that they derive from the same one, While Spinoza distinguishes mental and physical effects on the human mind, he denies the Cartesian mind-body dualism, arguing that the universal substance flows through body and mind alike. In Spinoza's universe, God does not rule providentially, but is in fact one with a deterministic system in which God could not have produced things in any other way but that in which they exist. Thus, God is not transcendental with respect to the universe, and everything that happens, has happened, or will happen is the product of a chain of cause and effect that neither God, the Creator, nor human beings can change. Thus, prayer is in vain. Nevertheless, knowledge of God enables people to formulate the best responses to the world around them. Where does this leave ethics? Spinoza's determinism is so thoroughgoing that morality and ethical judgment, eventuating in choice, are based on an illusion. Blame and praise are alike ideals, more accurately ideations, without basis in the real world. Ethics therefore must be based on a kind of stoicism, with philosophy serving as a therapeutic role by guiding people to happiness, defined as moderating passion and reducing needs. Reason, Spinoza believed, could not simply overcome emotion. Only a stronger emotion could overcome a prevailing emotion. He therefore argued that active emotions, capable of rational understanding, could be used to overcome passive emotions, which were incapable of being understood. Do this, and a degree of happiness might be attained. Good and evil, Spinoza argued, are not intrinsically good or evil because everything proceeds from a determined necessity and is therefore perfect. We call some things good and some evil because they are either good or evil relative to humanity. With respect to the universe, however, all is necessary and therefore perfect. This being the case, the loftiest human virtue is knowledge of God, or what is precisely the same, knowledge of nature or the universe.